I really, really wanted to be here to express my feelings about this moment and to honor a visionary, because I can tell you, because I was in this building at the time, it took a visionary to get to the establishment of a truly independent and effective CCRB. It was not easy. It was a tough mission, and one that someone with less vision, less heart, less commitment would not even have attempted. But David Dinkins was willing to do what was difficult because he knew it was right and he knew it would have a lasting positive impact in the city. And once again, Mayor Dinkins, I want to tell you something. You were right. It has had a lasting and positive impact on the city. Congratulations. I also want to say, in the vein of good karma, that is a very wonderful thing when you can do something historic and powerful that helps people, and that was the creation of the CCRB. It's also an extraordinary thing when you can be there a quarter century later to celebrate it. You've done something right, is all I can say. Now, a lot of people put a lot of effort into creating and sustaining and building the CCRB. It was not just the first act that mattered, it's everything that's happened since. A lot of people in the Dinkins administration who worked here in City Hall, and people who have served in City Hall since. A lot of people at the NYPD who believed that it actually was the right vision to have the kind of oversight that gave confidence and built trust and worked to create a CCRB that was fair to all. Success has many mothers and fathers. So we celebrate today the visionary who got us to the point of actually having an independent CCRB. But I want to thank all of the folks who built it over time. I want to thank the former chairs. I want to thank the former members and, of course, the current members. I want to thank the staff. I want to thank everybody who participated in this extraordinary work. It's no surprise to me it's a model that's being looked at around the country and around the world. But it didn't spring up out of the earth perfectly formed. It was something that had to be worked on for years and years to get it to be all it could be, and we still are doing that work. I especially want to thank folks who have played a central role. Commissioner Jimmy O'Neill, I want to say not only have you and your team been central to the continued development of a fair NYPD and a fair CCRB, but because of neighborhood policing, we have a paradigm now that meets all of the underlying ideals of the CCRB and takes us to the next level. I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank Executive Director Jonathan Darsh for his leadership. Again, all the staff, everyone who's at CCRB now, members and staff, thank you. And we get a lot of support and an occasional prodding from the City Council. And I want to thank a very active and activist and effective chair of the Committee on Public Safety, Donovan Richards. Thank you. And to all the other members of my administration who are here, who I know believe in this mission. Let me say this very quickly. If you look at the history, and rarely do we get that moment of pause to look at the history, the idea, the progressive idea of civilian oversight of police goes back to the 19th century. And it was a debate that raged in this city for many years without resolution. I saw a video that literally sent chills up my spine. There was an exhibit on the mayoralty of John Lindsay at the Museum of the City of New York. And there's an extraordinary clip of video that had Bobby Kennedy, then United States Senator from New York, standing next to John Lindsay, I believe it was 1965, arguing why we needed an independent CCRB. It took another quarter century from that moment until Mayor Dinkins achieved it. But the idea, it burned in people's souls because they understood what it could take us to. They understood that an independent CCRB was one of the gateways to actual trust and accountability and could actually heal the relationship between police and community done right. We've seen that play out in so many ways. And I also want to say that Mayor Dinkins understood the full equation. He did not just say a CCRB is going to cure all of our ills. He understood that we needed a number of things to make the city safer. And I've said it many times publicly, Mayor, I'm going to say it again. We're the safest big city in America today. and thank you, Jimmy O'Neill, and thank you, the men and women of the NYPD. We are the safest big city in America, and we will continue to be the safest big city in America. But we never would have had the opportunity to be the safest big city in America if David Dinkins had not done the right thing years and years ago and got the more officers on the street and got the support we needed from Albany and created the programs to help our young people that started to turn the tide and took us away from an era of crime and chaos and toward the success we have today. If you want to know where that path started, look to that man right there. We're getting toward the end of another year, and Jimmy O'Neill and I always know as we get toward the end of another year that we do not predict specific outcomes. We knock on wood a lot, but what we see as we close out 2018 is the potential for even more records to be set for safety in this city, even lower crime. Achievements that would have been inconceivable when all of us were in City Hall in 1990. We could never have guessed then how low crime could get. We could never have guessed then how much stronger our social fabric could become. But we did know that we had to start down the road. We did know that change was possible. And I have to say to Mayor David Dinkins, I've told you before, you inspired so many of us. And you taught so many of us, and you gave us an example. And you had to walk through the fire more than once. But you really stayed the course and believed. And it is gratifying to me to be able to say to you, not only were you right, not only did your persistence pay off, but today in New York City, there are people who are enjoying that safety, who are enjoying the quality of life we all dreamed of them having, who are enjoying the respectful relationship between police and community that once was only a dream. But you helped us get to this day by starting us on the road to that dream. So I know Fred Davies is going to come back up and has a special presentation. But I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Mayor Dinkins, God bless you. You were the right man at the right time, and you helped us get to this good time. Thank you, and God bless you. Do it real quick because I want to get on the phone right away.
So we're going to go straight to the presentation to Mayor Dinkins before Mayor de Blasio has to leave, and then after that we will hear from Councilmember Donovan Richards. So I'm going to ask all the members of the CCRB board if they will come forward. I'm going to ask the mayor, Mayor de Blasio, if he will come here. I'm going to ask the rest of the dais guests if they will come over as well. Former board members for the CCRB also, Maya, I see, Richard Emery, Maya Wiley, Richard Emery, other board members, CCRB, great. All right, and they need us to come closer in.
Oh, my good
and we're gonna, right.
Some people want to come back.
And maybe we have two rows. So Dean, maybe we can get you all, or come back.
Here's the height advantage.
All right. So Mayor Dinkins, over the last 25 years, the Civilian Complaint Review Board has played a unique and essential role in the life of the city of New York. And we all owe you a deep debt of gratitude for the political courage and foresight you displayed as mayor. Out of your action in 1993, as we've said, has grown an independent, all-civilian police oversight agency that works tirelessly day in and day out to hold members of the NYPD accountable and to improve police-community relations. For that, on behalf of the board and staff of the CCRB, on behalf of all those gathered here today, on behalf of all those who have come forth with reports of police misconduct, on behalf of everybody who works to improve police-community relations in this city, we present you this Pioneer Award from the Civilian Complaint Review. Thank you.
I'm going to help you up there.
Old people need all the help they can get. I am so pleased to be here, and as a matter of fact, at my age, I'm happy to be anywhere. But, you know, I tell a story sometimes of a fifth grade class, and there was a turtle high up on 8-10 feet up, and the teacher said, "Well, what's the one thing you know?" And one little boy said he didn't get there by himself. And I wish that Bill Lynch could be here. He died much too early at age 72. But he and Colonel Kelly, I always call Ray Colonel because I was a PFC, so to this day I call him Colonel. I never call him Commissioner, I call him Colonel. But it was they and a whole lot of others who helped get this done. And see, I remember way back when John Lindsay made a first stab at it, and it was very difficult of accomplishment. But I just happened to be the guy in office when we were able to achieve it. But it was a whole lot of good people, many of them standing right here and out there, who got it done. And it's so important. And it's also an opportunity for us to remember that the police officers of New York City, the NYPD, are the best there is. They do a lot of good work for all of us. And when I was a little boy, which was a very long time ago, but if your parents taught you if you got lost, go ask a police officer. That's what we were told. And I think it's true today. It's been difficult. We've had some tough times. I remember when the police were not too happy with me. Matter of fact, we had a little mini riot right here at City Hall. But we survived that too. And the colonel and his folks have done a wonderful, wonderful job. And we are all safer because of the police department of the city of New York. And I thank you for giving me credit for what others have done. Thank you very much. Hi, buddy.
All right. There you go. You got it. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you for those words, Mayor Dinkins. Thank you, Mayor de Blasio. Before we actually conclude, we'd like to hear from a good friend of the CCRB, a leader here in this city, a member of our city council, the Honorable Donovan Richards.
All righty, glad they were here for the event. But good afternoon. First off, let me thank you, Chair Davey, for the work that you do and your staff, Jonathan and Ms. Richardson. Thank you for all the work you're doing. To our police commissioner as well, thank you for all the work you do. I'm honored to stand here today to celebrate someone who changed the landscape of New York City politics and policing in New York City and this country forever. Someone I admired as an elementary school student when he served as mayor of this great city. You spoke of that 5th grader. I wasn't as smart as he was, but I was perhaps in 5th grade around the time you created CCRB. So I'm honored to be here to honor such a servant leader. I once heard a wise man say, a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. These words embody you, Mr. Mayor Dinkins, in every way. And as we look back 25 years ago, when you proposed the creation of the Independent Civilian Complaint Review Board, there were those who said this city would go to hell. They even wore t-shirts that read, "Dear Mayor, have you hugged a drug dealer today?" Well, today, we continue to prove those naysayers wrong, because New York City is safer than it's ever been because of your work. And that's largely because you had the foresight to know that to create a safer city, we must hold those who are charged with enforcing the law to the highest standards. From negotiating the National Tennis Center in Queens to overseeing the first downward spike in crime in New York has seen in the 30 years, your work continues to leave a lasting legacy of success on our city that he so eloquently labeled as a gorgeous mosaic. But undoubtedly, his greatest lasting accomplishment was establishing an independent CCRB made up of an all-civilian board with subpoena power. Subpoena power, we like that word. Because for far too long, those New Yorkers who provided the color to that mosaic lacked the ability to voice their concerns and call out misconduct when law enforcement violated their rights. While we've come a long way, we still have more work to do to ensure that the CCRB has the tools to hold those in power accountable, and it is my honor to take up this mantle in my final term as the chair of the Public Safety Committee. In closing, I just like to say thank you, Mayor Dinkins, for inspiring me to make tough decisions and to always listen to the needs of everyday New Yorkers. Such an honor to honor you. Thank you so much for having the vision, and thank you for always giving advice. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on a well-deserved honor.
So thank you again, Mayor Dinkins. Thank you, Mayor de Blasio, Councilmember Richards, Commissioner O'Neill. And thanks to all of you, everyone who's come out here today to join us for this 25th anniversary of the celebration of an independent, all-civilian complaint review board. As we close, let me continue to call for better police oversight, knowing that it improves police-community relations. And when we improve police-community relations, ultimately, we make New York City a safer city for everyone. We have reached the conclusion of this program. I would invite you all to come and say hello to the mayor, to enjoy the refreshments outside, and to continue to support this agency and its work. I want to thank all of you for coming out today, and congratulations again to our mayor, Mayor David Norman Dinkins. Thank you, Mayor Dinkins.
Can I have any elected officials and city leaders, commissioners to come to the front so we can take a photo? Commissioner Mike, come back. City leaders.